What's up, everyone? It's Tech Trooper 64, and today I have here a rumor about the Nintendo Direct, or the so-called Nintendo Direct, that is going to be happening this month, and to be specific, next week. There will be a Nintendo Direct coming to announce a bunch of Nintendo Switch games. Now, here I have a Reddit page by the name of Kappa, which is a reference to the popular meme that's on Twitch. And if you write Kappa in the Twitch chat, a picture of Kappa shows up, which if you don't know who Kappa is, I'm not going to get into it, just Google it. Honestly, funny thing. But anyways, let's talk about the leak. Now, I would like to address right away, this is a rumor, which means anything that is said in said rumor doesn't mean that it's truth. It just means that it is something that one person has said to another, that said to another, that said to another, and that said to another. It's possible that this entire rumor could be false, or some parts could be true, or all of it could be true. But all I'm saying is just take it with a grain of salt, everything I'm going to say. Now, what I'm going to focus on, because this is a huge leak, I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to check it out for yourself. I'll label it as the Kappa leak. And if you go and see it, it's a long leak that talks about Soul Calibur 5, or Soul Calibur 6, sorry, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Marvel vs. Capcom, Devil May Cry. But what I want to talk about is the section that talks about the Nintendo Direct, which is supposed to happen sometime this month. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into it. So here we go. So before we get into the Nintendo Direct section, I want to talk about Soul Calibur 6, because he does talk about the Switch version coming, and I'll put a picture up on screen of exactly what he had to say. Okay, let's see here. The source who told me about the Switch version is different about the ones who told me originally about the game's existence. As I've noted before in my Leaky Leaks post, the Switch source is the one that said that Legend of Zelda's Link character will be in the version. Not only that, but I heard from my Soul Calibur 6 source, who knows a lot about the game, that only suspects that there will be a Fire Emblem character, but only one, inside the game as well. But it involves a Soul Calibur character. They also formally and outright heard of a Switch version, other than it was likely, but couldn't possibly or personally confirm it, and still can't. However, the Fire Emblem character is speculation due to a certain detail they knew about it, and the only reason why they thought that there would be one, that they later on found out who or why. We still don't know anything about that, but later on, let's see what else he says. Does it kill Soul Calibur 6 on the Switch? At the moment, let's go with it's uncertain. But they could just be a coy like Bandai Namco has tried doing with Dragon Ball FighterZ, with Nintendo Switch getting a version. Now, if Soul Calibur 6 does come for the Switch, it should be revealed at the January Direct. However, if it's not revealed then it simply won't come to the Switch. But he goes on to say that I highly doubt that it's a never situation. I feel like that it is a possibility, but right now, we don't know if it's reliable or not. Okay, so pretty much what he's saying here is that the Nintendo Switch version of Soul Calibur 6 is a possibility, but right now he has two sources. He has one guy who revealed pretty much every single detail about Soul Calibur 6, but then he has another guy who's saying, oh, Soul Calibur 6 is coming to the Switch. So I see where he's coming from, where he's like, oh, I don't know who to trust. Well, like, one of them you can trust, because Soul Calibur 6 was revealed to be true at the Game Awards last year. And now we have information from this random guy, another source, who's stating that Soul Calibur 6 is coming to the Switch. So we don't know what's going to happen at this point. Right now, I would be cautiously optimistic about this, because right now, we don't know what's going to happen. But anyway, let's move on to the Nintendo Direct section. Sorry, guys, if I made you wait for a bit. But anyway, here we go. It's pretty long, so bear with me here. So, not everything in this section will be announced in the Nintendo January Direct, but it should be part of it, or most likely in it. So basically what he's saying is that this is coming from a source, and he's not sure how reliable the source is, so it could happen, but it couldn't. The source goes on to say that the Direct is planned for early to mid-January, with the 10th or the 11th being a date that they really, really want to have the Nintendo Direct. So usually that means that by tomorrow or by Monday, we should be getting an announcement that a Nintendo Direct is coming. Moving on. The Switch's Virtual Console is not going to be working on like it currently is, as there is some sort of subscription service in the works. How online and rewards will work is part of that direct as well. Okay, so that's interesting. So what he's pretty much saying is that, you know how the whole Virtual Console service works now, where you can buy separate titles? Instead of that, they're going to be doing like a Netflix-like thing where you pay monthly. It looks like, anyways, where you pay monthly and you get benefits, and you also get all of those Virtual Console games pretty much for free. Well, that's how it sounds like, anyways, but we'll have to wait and see. Next is Metroid Prime 4 will be also getting a section in the Nintendo Direct. As I've said before, Bandai Namco is involved in the development of the game. So that's actually pretty cool to hear that Metroid Prime 4 is being helped out with Bandai Namco. That's awesome. I also did hear that Retro Game Studios, the guys who made the original Metroid Prime games, they have nothing to do with this game. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's really true, but who knows. As I said in the original Leaky Leaks post, there is a new Animal Crossing game that is supposed to release next year too, with an update I have being about it that it should be releasing in Q3 by the sounds of it. It should likely be covered in the Direct, and if not, it will be covered at E3. Pokemon Generation 8 should be covered as well, and have a highlight since I keep hearing that there's very real pressure on them to bring the game out in late 2018. It was brought to my attention that this may be less likely to happen based on the entire fact that the Pokemon Company has, as of this writing, hasn't announced a mainline Pokemon game during any general Nintendo Direct or E3 presentation. Okay, I don't know what he means there, because that's straight up false. Because they have announced they announced Pokemon X and Y like way back in 2013 through a Nintendo Direct. Unless he's like talking about like a pure Nintendo Direct, because it was a Pokemon Direct back then. Like that's what it was, but that's not true. Like that's a little bit sketchy how he says that. But anyway, whatever. Unless they're breaking the trend for this game. But keep that in mind. Don't let the probably realistic possibility of it not being part of the January Direct. If it isn't... Wait, sorry. He's not great at English, it's obvious. If it isn't convinced you... Yeah, do you see how bad this is? Gen 8 is not in the works, or that it's likely pushed for an end of 2018 release date. Mother 3 has a realistic chance of being released next year, according to my sources. It was apparently completely localized and playable. The sad thing is that it's being held back for some reason, which all I know is that it has to do with which month to release it in and not to conflict with other releases or cannibalize sales. But they should have some open spaces next year from what I hear, so it's actually pretty good for Mother 3 next year. I haven't heard anything specific about Fire Emblem 16, yet other than it might be around out in Q2 or Q3, with a May release date even. Now, I don't know if he's talking about this year or next year. It's weird. I heard about a new Wario game, however. The update is that it'll be released on 3DS, which is kind of disappointing, but I guess the handheld needs some sort of first-party send-off. Speaking of send-offs, this is something that I only recently heard something more about. I still find it kind of out there, questionable. I originally didn't hear anything specific until yesterday, but I heard a while back of rumors that a Link's Awakening remake-ish is inspired by it. Kind of like how A Link Between Worlds was a remake of A Link to the Past, but it was kind of a sequel. Okay, so that's interesting. But that was the extent of it. The update, from what I heard, is that the 3DS is supposed to have the most impressive Zelda on 3DS yet. If it is indeed happening, then they are absolutely using the game as a 3DS send-off when it comes to first-party Nintendo games. So that's interesting. That's very interesting, actually. That then there is going to be one more Zelda game, and it's supposed to be the most impressive Zelda on the 3DS yet. So if that's the case, here's my own prediction. What if it's a 3D Zelda? Like, I'm just going to throw that out there. What if it's a 3D Zelda? Like, yeah, that'd be awesome to have a Link's Awakening remade, like, with better graphics. That's awesome. But, I mean, a 3D Zelda would be great for 3DS. Like, we haven't had a pure brand new title for Zelda on 3DS that's 3D. Anyway, moving on. GTA 5 is having a Switch port and will likely be around Q3 and will be highlighted in the Nintendo Direct. I also heard Rockstar is also planning something else for Switch outside of GTA 5. This sounds like Red Dead Redemption will be coming to Nintendo Switch as a remaster. Also, another thing is Killing Floor 2 is coming to Nintendo Switch, but the release date is up in the air and is not something my contacts know definitively yet, but will sometime come out in 2018. Also, it looks like Blizzard is preparing a Hearthstone port for Nintendo Switch. So, for people who don't know, Hearthstone is the card game that Blizzard owns. So, I heard it's fun, I just never played it. The next one is Injustice 2 is coming for Nintendo Switch. That is awesome. Bro, I wanted Injustice or Mortal Kombat to come to the Switch for a while now. That's really, really cool. Moving on. I heard about Ace Attorney ports coming to Nintendo Switch before Kotaku UK even posted about it, though I didn't share info because I wasn't waiting for more substantial info, with the most likely being a compilation or compilations of all the Phoenix Wright games. So I'm kind of going to skip this. I'm not a huge Phoenix Wright guy, but I'm just going to skip to the more important details of it. That the Ace Attorney game that's coming for Switch, that's exclusive to it apparently, is coming out either in the end of 2018 or the earliest of early 2019. That's what it looks like. Also, I heard about Wonderful 101 coming to Nintendo Switch. We're not sure if it's a sequel or if it's a port of the original game. So we're pretty much having a Splatoon problem here on Nintendo Switch. Now, this is where he says, I don't have a lot of details on this one, this next game I'm going to talk about. But he talks about how Nier Automata, the PlayStation 4 exclusive game from Platinum Games, is coming to Nintendo Switch. Now, the reason why I'm skeptical about this is because he says, I'm not sure if the console exclusivity is still going on with Sony or if it's timed exclusive. If it's timed exclusive, then it will come to Switch, but right now I don't know very much about it. Next is Dragon Quest XI is coming to Nintendo Switch. I think they already announced that actually, if I'm not wrong. We just don't know if it's coming at the same time as the Nintendo Switch, if it's coming at the same time in Japan and North America, but we'll have to wait and see. Moving on, we have Dragon Ball FighterZ coming to Nintendo Switch at the end of 2018. It looks like it'll be revealed in the Nintendo Direct. Also, the Dark Souls remaster is happening. However, he's not sure if it's exclusive to Switch or not. Now, considering that there were some people who were talking about Dark Souls remaster on Twitter the other day, they were saying that it was also coming to PS4 and Xbox One, so I don't think it's going to be exclusive. Anyway, let's continue. Now, here's the final details. Some things I heard yesterday, but I'm a little bit shaky. Apparently, next year's Call of Duty is coming to Nintendo Switch. However, I'm still a little shaky on this. Okay, so he doesn't know if this is for sure, but according to this rumor, the next Call of Duty coming in 2018 is coming to Nintendo Switch with HD Rumble support. Also, Undertale is coming to Nintendo Switch and is being announced in the Nintendo Direct in January. That's awesome. Fortnite is coming to Nintendo Switch sooner rather than later if possible. And also, the big indie game hit is coming to Hello Neighbor, the horror game where you sneak into your neighbor's house. That's coming to Nintendo Switch and PS4. And Tiny Build is also porting a few other titles to Nintendo Switch. So that's pretty much the entire rumor. I don't know what to think of it. There's a lot of things that are out there, like, if you know what I mean. They're kind of like far-fetched. They seem just a little bit too good to be true. But there's some that are like the release date, for example. I've heard on Twitter as well that the release date for this Direct is also at that time. The one thing that, another out there thing for me anyways, I feel like, is GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption. Those two, I feel like that's out there. But considering that the last Direct we got Doom, Wolfenstein 2, and some Skyrim gameplay shown in that Direct, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, if you know what I mean. I'm skeptical about it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's shown. Injustice 2, I'm excited about it personally. If Call of Duty comes to the Switch, I will be so happy. Like, I will get it day one. I've owned every Call of Duty for Nintendo consoles. That sounds awesome. Dark Souls, that sounds probable. We heard that before. Nier Automata, I don't think that's coming to Switch. Like, I'm sorry, but I feel like Sony is going to keep the exclusivity on that one. But that's just me. And finally, Undertale and Hello Neighbor. I know those are popular games. Personally, myself, I was into Undertale for like a month, and then I stopped. I just didn't care about it anymore. And Hello Neighbor, I know, has a huge following. I can't get into it for the life of me, but I know there's a huge following on it, so that's great. But personally, myself, I can live without it. But anyway, guys, sorry for the long video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below about this rumored Nintendo Direct lineup. Do you think that this is too good to be true, or do you think that it is real and it is going to be announced? Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and be sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe to get more news and updates on the Nintendo Direct coming this month. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.